Hello, welcome guys to my first video of 2020 or the second video of this channel. Yeah, just firstly address the elephant in the room. Yeah, this video is coming at least 4 to 5 days late according to my edit. Currently I don't know about how much long it will take to edit it. So yeah, it is taking me at least 3 days later. I will be posting it from my schedule, but the next video may be coming very early and will be coming before the schedule I will be setting according to it. So yeah, firstly introduce to my topic. As you may have already been seen in the title, in the thumbnail or so on, what if Aurangzeb has not killed his parents and not captured his brothers and sisters, and have then technically doesn't become a king? That's for sure. Then his brother, his elder brother, would have become from the Mughal tradition. So yeah, he will definitely not be becoming the king from this timeline. Many intricate details will be then after that will be discussed. So just jump right into the what if. Before starting the what if, we need to know something about the history of that time, that how everything was playing at the time. So at that time, Taj Mahal was probably have built up so that now easily the Mumtaz Mahal Maqbara was already be done. So at that time, the current emperor was not Aurangzeb for sure. It was Shah Jahan, his father, and he was not on its finest, and he was not even on its peak at that time. If we're talking about his empire, the empire was one of the strongest in the world and one of the most richest at that time. So that's why it was called as Sone ki Chidi or Golden Bird by many. The money was just flowing. Everybody was probably rich. You can say it was present in Switzerland or so, or maybe Finland. Yeah, that was the scenario of that time. But on the realistic scenario, when we see the treasury, we will see that the Taj Mahal have taken a shit ton of money. If you think about it, it will have taken a very lofty amount, and managing the empire, everything has costed them so much that their taxes were not enough. That's making Shah Jahan treasure to be very shrink. And at that time, due to that, the top level was such in a misery that you can't even imagine. It was so weak that anybody can mishap in that. That's why Aurangzeb was able to kill his parents and capture them, all his family, very easily. That's was the major scenario. But now in this what if, there are mainly two conditions. First is the treasury was good and everything was fine, so Shah Jahan just handed over to his eldest son Dasutara and everything played fine. The second situation is that Aurangzeb mind change and everything rule all the same. In the first scenario, we will see that Aurangzeb still try, and due to the sheer strength of Shah Jahan, he killed his own son. But due to it will not make a major change in the after timeline. So why to kill someone? That's a surety. So the second scenario is been taken. In this scenario, his mind changed after seeing the empire situation. He, instead of being pity and kill them, he feel proud that his father built such a thing, and make his decision to be proud and make their country even more richer and richer. So in this scenario, we will see the crown to be held by Darasutara, the eldest son of Shah Jahan. So let's start the what if in literally. As we seen in the timeline, the country was in very good shape, but the treasury was not. So many bills were not paid, many soldiers were not paid to do this. Because of that, to make the empire work and make everything good and fine, they need to take some major steps. That were to increase the taxes. It was at that time the taxes were pretty low, that didn't angry much people, but some were making people become curious after some time, because It was the first time the taxes were raised and so on and so forth, because the previous taxes were mostly at the time of drought or something and nothing was happening. So seeing the Taj Mahal, everybody was not proud of Shah Jahan effect. So even his decision to make his eldest son the throne owner make everyone not that much happy, because it was just Shah Jahan will. That was fine for most of the people and everything was working fine. So at that time the empire was in a misery. People think it was good, but it was not good due to Darasutara not being a good leader and Shah Jahan not being a good teacher in my sense, because Aurangzeb nothing was taught to him and we see how good he was, somewhat good, not that much good. Even he can't teach his own son that many easily. So in this case we see Darasutara controlling the army and so on and so on forth. So seeing this, Aurangzeb was just a second fiddle and nothing happened to him, nothing much happened to him. So he is not even in the timeline matters in this timeline. So we will make him disappear. It sounds good for me. So in this timeline we will see Darasutara making many changes to increase the taxes, decreasing the army. This make Mughal become smaller and smaller. And seeing the Shah Jahan wish to make a black Taj Mahal, so that was also built. That just destroyed the treasury. It was shit ton money that was being poured into it, and after that so much money drained and more taxes were raised, more income was generated, more angry the people become. This make Mughals even more weaker and weaker. That's make a very long lasting impact when that we will see in the future when they fight with other, because right now many things were very much difficult. The army was not paid. That was the major reason that make the Mughal empire to become shrink, because many sub directory, many corner parts were not being handled that good due to lack of army, lack of support, lack of money in a major way. That makes people think it was shrinking and shrinking, the treasure was shrinking. That make for a collapse, but it doesn't happen right now because it somewhat was handled and nothing was majorly happened this now till now. This empire was little bit smaller but not that much. After some time they capture it again and become in the part of that. So this was the major scenario that will be going to be played. So let's see the major economical part. Due to increasing taxes, the people were not happy with Darasutara and Shah Jahan will to make such a luxurious expenses like Black Taj Mahal, like White Taj Mahal and many other monuments that were unnecessary, and most people doesn't think about that they were a good idea. So seeing this thing, people start to become angry, but due to the empire was so big, they doesn't revolt directly, but they, if they get a chance they will revolt, that was for sure. So this will play a major role in the future timeline that we will see, that when the distribution take place, they easily accept it and become a part of it. At that time we will see other empires to rise like Marathas and Rajputs. Rajputs were not being that much pushed and they don't even want the land of Mughal, so they were not challenged. If we see of other cases of Marathas, they were very challenged. They need the expansion, they need those Mughals to go out. They were not even little bit of happy of Mughal. So we will see them fight after some time. As we see in the present timeline, or we can say our true timeline, Aurangzeb has already fought the war with Marathas and have spent so much money to conquer it. We will not see in this timeline for sure because of lack of money and lack of support from the army. But we will see that due to this, the Marathas will rise to a tremendous level that will make a very long lasting impact. So there I am leaving for now because the video is becoming too much of time and it's becoming too long and it will take a shit ton of time to edit it. So for sure in the next part we will see the war between Mughals and Marathas. Let's watch what will happen.